The gunshot echoed through the rain-slicked streets of Manhattan, shattering the night like glass underfoot. I clutched my side, blood seeping between my fingers, as Alexander Voss, the infamous CEO whose empire crushed competitors without mercy, stared at me with eyes wider than I'd ever seen. In that moment, the man who feared nothing, who had built his fortune on ice-cold decisions, trembled like a leaf in the storm, his voice breaking as he whispered, "Jamie, no God, please, don't leave me." It started 6 months earlier in the glittering chaos of New York City's corporate underbelly. I was Jamie Harper, a struggling graphic designer from Brooklyn, scraping by on freelance gigs and dreams of something more. Alexander Voss was the opposite, a titan of industry, head of Voss Enterprises, a conglomerate that dominated tech and finance. Rumors swirled about him: ruthless, unfeeling, a man who fired employees with a flick of his wrist and never looked back. Gay, yes, but his relationships were fleeting transactions, never attachments. I never imagined our paths would cross, let alone collide in a way that would upend both our lives. I met him at a charity gala in Midtown, one of those black tie affairs where the elite pretended to care about the less fortunate. I was there as a +1 for my friend Elena, who worked in PR and had dragged me along to network. The ballroom dripped with opulence, crystal chandeliers, flowing champagne, and whispers of deals being sealed in shadowed corners. Alexander stood out like a predator in a sea of sheep, his tailored suit hugging a frame honed by relentless gym sessions, his dark hair slicked back, and those piercing blue eyes scanning the room as if assessing threats. Our eyes locked across the crowd. It was electric, inexplicable. He approached with the confidence of someone used to getting what he wanted. "You're not one of them," he said, his voice low and commanding, nodding toward the clusters of socialites. I laughed, nervous but defiant. "No, I'm the guy who designs the invitations they ignore." We talked, or rather, he interrogated me about my art, my life, while I parried with questions about his world. By the end of the night, he'd slipped me his card. "Call me," he said. It wasn't a request. I did call, against my better judgment. Our first date was at a rooftop restaurant overlooking Central Park, where the city lights twinkled like distant stars. Alexander was guarded, his stories polished anecdotes of boardroom conquests. But there was a crack in his armor, a fleeting mention of a lonely childhood in Chicago, parents more interested in status than affection. I shared my own scars, growing up in a small-town Midwest where being gay meant hiding in shadows, moving to New York for freedom but finding isolation instead. That night, under the stars, he kissed me fiercely, possessively, like claiming territory. What followed was a whirlwind. Alexander pursued me with the same intensity he applied to business deals. Lavish gifts arrived at my dingy apartment, custom suits, original artworks, tickets to Broadway shows I'd only dreamed of. He introduced me to his circle, power brokers, celebrities, a world of excess. But beneath the romance simmered tension. Alexander was controlling, demanding my time, questioning my friends. "I need you close," he'd say, his grip tightening. I chalked it up to passion, ignoring the red flags. One evening, after a heated argument about my late nights at the studio, he revealed more. We were in his penthouse on the Upper East Side, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Hudson River. "I've lost people before," he admitted, voice raw. His ex-partner, Marcus, had left him years ago, citing Alexander's emotional unavailability. It had hardened him further. "I won't let that happen again." I pulled him into an embrace, feeling his body relax for the first time. That night, our lovemaking was tender, vulnerable, a bridge over the chasm between us. But cracks widened. Alexander's business was cutthroat. Rivals plotted against him. I overheard phone calls about shady deals, mergers that bordered on unethical. When I confronted him, he dismissed it. This is how the game is played. Jamie, stay out of it. I couldn't. My moral compass, forged in humble beginnings, clashed with his ambition. Yet, his touch, his rare smiles, they kept me hooked. The turning point came during a weekend getaway to the Hamptons. We walked the beach at sunset, waves crashing like our emotions. I love you, I said, the words slipping out unplanned. He froze, then pulled me close. You're mine, he replied, not quite reciprocating, but close enough. That night, in the oceanfront villa, we shared dreams, me, of opening my own gallery, him, of building a legacy beyond money. For a brief moment, it felt real. Back in the city, reality intruded. Alexander's company faced scandal accusations of insider trading. Reporters hounded us. He became paranoid, installing security in my apartment without asking. For your safety, he insisted. I felt suffocated, loved but caged. During a fight, I yelled, "You're not a tyrant in love, Alex." He stormed out, leaving me in tears. The next day, he returned with apologies and promises. We reconciled in a blaze of passion, bodies entwined on silk sheets. But doubt lingered. I started pulling away, taking more freelance work upstate to breathe. Alexander noticed, his texts growing frantic. Where are you? Come home. Then came the gala where everything shattered. It was another charity event, this time for LGBTQ rights, a cause close to my heart. Alexander sponsored it, his way of showing support. But tensions ran high. A rival executive, Victor Lang, cornered me in the hallway. "Voss is using you," he sneered. "He's got enemies. And you're collateral." I brushed it off, but seeds of fear took root. As we left, shots rang out drive-by, targeted at Alexander. Chaos erupted. A bullet grazed my side, pain exploding. I collapsed on the wet pavement, rain mixing with blood. Alexander knelt beside me, his face ashen. "Jamie," he cried, voice cracking. The man who faced boardrooms without flinching now shook, tears streaming. Paramedics arrived, but he refused to let go of my hand. "Don't leave me," he begged, the words a revelation. In the hospital, as I recovered from the superficial wound, Alexander confessed everything. The shooting was retaliation from a botched deal. "I thought I could protect you," he said, head bowed. "But seeing you hurt, it broke me." For the first time, he admitted his fear of loss, of vulnerability. "I love you, Jamie, more than anything." Recovery brought clarity. We talked for hours about his past traumas, my need for independence. He promised change therapy, scaling back control. I believed him, drawn by the man beneath the tyrant. But freedom beckoned. Weeks later, I told him I needed space. A trip to California to visit family. His eyes darkened. "You can't go." The argument escalated. "After everything, you think I'll let you walk away?" His grip on my arm was firm, possessive. That's when I realized the tyrant who trembled at my tears now held me captive in love's name. But was it love or fear? As I stared into his eyes, I saw both, in the path to redemption lay in facing it together. The standoff in Alexander's penthouse stretched into the night, the city skyline mocking our turmoil with its indifferent glow. "Let me go, Alex," I pleaded, my voice steady despite the storm inside. He paced like a caged lion, his usual composure fractured. "You don't understand, Jamie. The world out there, it's dangerous. I can't lose you." I had packed a bag, intending a short break to clear my head. The shooting had shaken me too. But it also illuminated the imbalance in our relationship. Alexander's love was a fortress, protective yet imprisoning. "This isn't healthy," I said, stepping closer. "You can't control everything, including me." He stopped, his blue eyes locking onto mine, filled with a desperation I'd never seen. In that vulnerability, I glimpsed the boy who'd been abandoned, the man who'd armored himself against pain. Flashbacks haunted me as we argued. Our early days, stolen kisses in Central Park, laughter over takeout in my tiny apartment. Alexander had softened then, sharing stories of his rise from no-thinga scholarship kid turned mogul. But power corrupted subtly. He'd learned to wield it like a weapon. Now, that weapon turned inward, binding us. He sank onto the couch, head in hands. "When you cried in the hospital." It terrified me. I've faced bankruptcies. Betrayals, nothing touched me like that. His voice cracked. A rare admission. I knelt before him, my heart aching. "That's love, Alex." "But love isn't possession." We talked until dawn, peeling layers, his fear of abandonment rooted in a father who left, a mother who prioritized career. Mine, from years of rejection in a conservative family. By morning, a fragile truce. He agreed to therapy, joint sessions. "For us," he said, pulling me into an embrace. Relief washed over me, but doubt lingered like fog over the East River. Life resumed with cautious optimism. Alexander delegated more at work, spending evenings with me cooking disastrous meals, watching indie films. Our intimacy deepened. Nights were a tapestry of whispers and touches, his body yielding in ways his mind struggled to. "You're my anchor," he'd murmur, fingers tracing my scars. But shadows loomed. Victor Lang, the rival, wasn't done. Whispers reached me, anonymous tips about Voss Enterprises' shady practices. I confronted Alexander. "Is there more to the scandal?" He hesitated, then confessed a past merger involving bribes. I was young, ambitious. "It's over now." Anger flared. "You lied." The fight was brutal. Words like daggers. I stormed out, seeking solace in Brooklyn streets. Elena found me at our old coffee shop. "He's changed for you," she said. "But can you trust it?" I didn't know. That night, alone in my apartment, I cried for us, for what could be. Alexander appeared at dawn, disheveled. "I can't do this without you." We reconciled again, but the cycle gnawed at me. Romance intertwined with drama. Every high followed a low. A breakthrough came during therapy. Our counselor, Dr. Reyes, a wise woman in her 50s, unpacked our dynamics. "Alexander, your control stems from fear. Jamie, your independence masks avoidance." Sessions were raw, tears flowing. Alexander opened up about Marcus, not just a breakup, but betrayal. Marcus had sold company secrets. I vowed never to be weak again. I shared my own wounds, a high school love shattered by outing, leading to estrangement. Progress was slow but tangible. Alexander stepped back from micromanaging, encouraging my art. I exhibited at a Soho gallery, his proud presence a quiet support. Our love evolved less possessive, more partnership. Walks in Washington Square Park became rituals. Hands linked, dreams shared. Yet, tension simmered. Lang escalated, a lawsuit against Voss, alleging fraud. Media frenzy ensued. Paparazzi hounded us. My face splashed across tabloids as Voss's boy toy. Alexander shielded me, but stress mounted. One night, after a grueling day in court, he snapped. "This is why I need to protect you." I pushed back. "We're in this together or not at all." The climax hit during a stormy evening. Lang's thugs ambushed us outside the courthouse. Fists flew. I fought back. Adrenaline surging. Alexander took a hit protecting me. Blood trickling from his lip. Police arrived. Arrests made. In the aftermath, huddled in an ER, he held my hand. I almost lost you again. Tears welled in his eyes, the tyrant trembling once more. That vulnerability sparked change. Alexander cooperated with investigators, exposing his own past misdeeds for a plea deal. For a clean start, he said. The company suffered. Stocks dipped. But integrity prevailed. As fallout settled, I considered leaving for real this time. I need to know if this is love or habit. He nodded. Pain etched on his face. Go, if you must. But no, I'll wait. I flew to San Francisco, staying with cousins. Days blurred into reflection, beaches, hikes, sketching. I missed him, the laughter, the passion, the man emerging from his shell. Calls were tentative at first, then heartfelt. I'm changing. Jamie. For me. Not just you. Weeks later, I returned. He met me at JFK, flowers in hand. No limo, just him. I won't hold you back, he promised. We rebuilt slowly. Boundaries respected. But old habits die hard. During a quiet dinner, I mentioned a solo trip to Europe for inspiration. His jaw tightened. Alone. The possessiveness flickered. We argued. But this time, he caught himself. I'm sorry. Go free. Freedom tasted bittersweet. In Paris, amid Eiffel Tower lights, I realized love wasn't chains, but choice. I cut the trip short, racing home, finding him in the penthouse. Pacing. Jamie. Surprise lit his face. I kissed him fiercely. I choose use. That night, we made love with renewed fire. Bodies and souls aligned. You trembled when I cried. I whispered. Now, let's build something unbreakable. Months passed. Harmony grew. Alexander mentored young entrepreneurs, channeling ambition positively. I opened my gallery, his support unwavering. Yet, one final test, Lang's trial. Testifying meant reliving trauma. Alexander stood by me, hand in mine. Together, he said. Verdict, guilty. Relief flooded us. In the courthouse steps, under flashing cameras, he pulled me close. I won't let you leave because you choose to stay. Our story became legend in New York's Circlisa Tyrant, tamed by love's tremor. But to us, it was simple. Two men, flawed and fierce, choosing each other daily. The trial's aftermath brought a fragile peace to our lives, like the calm after a hurricane that had uprooted everything we knew. Alexander's company weathered the storm, emerging leaner and more ethical. With him at the helm, not as a dictator, but as a leader who valued his team. I threw myself into my gallery. Harper Visions, a cozy space in Chelsea where emerging LGBTQ artists could shine without the cutthroat competition of the big leagues. Our days blended seamlessly, mornings with coffee and newspapers in the penthouse, afternoons pursuing passions, evenings wrapped in each other's arms, sharing the highs and lows. But beneath the surface, scars lingered. Nightmares plagued meth gunshot. The blood. Alexander's trembling form. He'd wake me gently, holding me until dawn. I'm here. He'd whisper, his voice a soothing anchor. In return, I coaxed him from his shells, encouraging vulnerability. We volunteered at youth centers, helping queer kids navigate worlds we'd barely survived. It was our way of giving back, infusing purpose into our love. Romance bloomed anew. A surprise weekend in the Catskills, hiking trails hand in hand. Picnics by waterfalls. Alexander, usually so urban, marveled at nature's simplicity. This is freedom, he said. kissing me under autumn leaves. Our intimacy was deeper, less frantic explorations of bodies we'd come to know like maps. Each touch a reaffirmation. Yet, conflict brewed subtly. Alexander's protectiveness resurfaced during a gallery event. A flirtatious collector lingered too long, and Alexander's glare could freeze lava. Later, at home, tension exploded. "You think I don't see the risks?" he demanded. I countered. "Trust me, Alex. I'm not Marcus." The name hung heavy. He flinched. We made up in a torrent of passion, but the seed of doubt sprouted. Dr. Reyes helped navigate. "Love requires release," she advised. Alexander worked on it. Journaling fears. Meditating. I did too, confronting my tendency to flee when things intensified. A pivotal moment came during Pride Month. We marched in the parade, flags waving, crowds cheering. Alexander, once closeted in boardrooms, held my hand publicly. "For you," he said, eyes shining. That night, atop the Empire State Building, he proposed not with a ring, but a vow. "Marry me, Jamie. Let's make this official." Tears stung my eyes. I said yes. Our kiss sealing futures. Planning the wedding was joyous chaos. Friends rallied, Elena as maid of honor, Alexander's sister from Chicago helping with venues. We chose a rooftop in Brooklyn. Skyline views symbolizing our journey from shadows to light. But drama struck weeks before. An ex of Alexander's, not Marcus but a brief fling named Riley, surfaced with tabloid fodder-old photos. Salacious claims. Media swarmed. Alexander shut down, retreating to work. "I won't let this ruin us," he growled. I felt sidelined, his old tyranny peeking through. Confrontation in the penthouse. "Talk to me," I yelled. He broke, admitting fear. "What if you leave?" I held him as he cried, roles reversed. The tyrant vulnerable. "I won't," I promised. We faced the press together. Truth prevailing. Riley recanted. Peace restored. The wedding day dawned crisp. Autumn sun gilding the city. Vows exchanged amid loved ones. "I trembled at your pain, but now I stand strong with you." Rings slipped on fingers. A kiss that echoed eternity. Honeymoon in Hawaii, beaches, sunsets, unhurried love. Alexander opened fully, sharing childhood dreams crushed by expectation. "You revived them," he said. Our nights were symphonies of desire, bodies dancing in moonlight. Back home, life flourished. Alexander launched a foundation for queer entrepreneurs. I mentored artists. Our home became a haven, filled with laughter, art, and friends. But one evening, a call shattered bliss. My father, long estranged, reached out. "Cancer. Terminal. Come home," he rasped. Midwest shadows beckoned. Alexander insisted on joining. Together. The trip was tense. My hometown, unchanged, stirred ghosts. Father, frail in his bed, looked at us 12 men, hand in hand. "I was wrong," he whispered, tears falling. Reconciliation mended old wounds. Alexander's support was unwavering, his strength my pillar. Returning, we adopted a rescue dog, Max, symbolizing new beginnings. Days blurred into contentment, walks in Central Park, cozy dinners, dreams of family, perhaps surrogacy someday. Yet, a final twist. Lang, out on bail, threatened revenge. Anonymous notes arrived. Chilling. Alexander's instinct. Lockdown. Stay inside. I refused. We face it as equals. Investigation revealed Lang's desperation, bankrupt. Unhinged. Confrontation at a neutral spot. Police sting. Lang arrested for good. In the debrief, Alexander hugged me. You were right. Freedom and unity. Our bond, forged in fire, emerged unbreakable. The tyrant who feared nothing now embraced everything with me. Years later, on our anniversary, we revisited the gala site. Remember? He asked. I nodded, tears welling. He trembled slightly, pulling me close. Now, I won't let you leave because you never want to. And I didn't. Our love, dramatic and profound, taught us vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the heart of strength. In America's vast tapestry, two souls found home in each other, a testament to resilience, romance, and humanity's capacity for change. As the years unfolded, our story became a quiet legend among New York's queer community, a beacon for those navigating love's turbulent waters. Alexander and I settled into a rhythm that balanced his drive with my creativity. Our penthouse evolving from a sterile showcase to a warm nest filled with my paintings, his books, and Max's toys scattered like joyful chaos. We hosted gatherings, artists mingling with executives, conversations sparking collaborations that bridged worlds. Romance never faded. It matured. Surprise notes in lunch bags. Weekend escapes to Napa Valley vineyards where we'd sip wine and reminisce. You made me human, Alexander would say, his blue eyes soft. Our physical connection remained electric. Nights a blend of tenderness and fire, each encounter reaffirming our choice. But life tested us further. Alexander's health scary as stress-induced heart episode hit like a thunderbolt. In the hospital, roles flipped. I trembled at his bedside, whispering, please, don't leave me. He recovered, vowing balance. We traveled, Europe, Asia, absorbing cultures that enriched our perspectives. In Tokyo's bustling streets, he proposed again, renewing vows under cherry blossoms. Forever, we echoed. Back home, we pursued family. Surrogacy journey, emotional roller coaster of selections. Waits, joys. Twin boys arrived, Ethan and Lucas, tiny miracles with Alexander's eyes and my smile. Fatherhood transformed us. Alexander, once distant, became the dad who read bedtime stories with dramatic flair. I captured moments in sketches, our home echoing with laughter. Challenges arose, balancing careers, parenting, arguments over discipline, time. But we communicated, drawing from therapy tools. We're a team became our mantra. A humanitarian twist, Alexander's foundation grew, funding global LGBTQ initiatives. We visited projects in rural America, witnessing change. One trip to my hometown, dedicating a center in my father's memory. Tears flowed, healing full circle. Drama revisited when a corporate espionage plot targeted Voss. Old enemies surfaced. Alexander's instinct, shield us. But he consulted me. Your input matters. Together, we navigated, exposing the culprits. Victory strengthened us. As boys grew, we taught values, empathy, resilience. Ethan came out young. We embraced him, drawing from our story. On our 20th anniversary, a quiet Hamptons retreat. Walking the beach, Alexander stopped. That first Trembled saved me. I kissed him, waves applauding. And you saved me. Our legacy, a book I wrote. Trembling hearts, inspiring countless. Alexander's memoir followed, raw and redemptive. In twilight years, we retired to a Connecticut farmhouse. Gardens blooming like our love. Grandkids visited. Stories shared. Alexander, silver-haired but fierce, held my hand. I won't let you leave. He'd tease. When illness claimed him first, I trembled at his bedside. Go peacefully, I whispered. His last words, "Wait for me." I carried on. Gallery thriving. Foundation enduring. At his grave, I smiled through tears. You never did. Our tale endures, proof that love conquers tyranny. Fear yields to connection. In America's diverse heart, we found meaning to men, eternally entwined.